Hey, I'm Karim of Mayfield. You now rocking with the Ministry of Information podcast. Hey, check it out. Pull up Authentic 415 Dispensary, 165 Mississippi Street, San Francisco, California. Aboard.
Everybody regard Floyd Mayweather as the champ and one of the greatest of the generation. And as I understand and I heard through the grapevine that Floyd Mayweather actually ducked you. And can you tell us a little bit about what is your relationship like with Floyd Mayweather and how did Floyd Mayweather duck you?
I tell you, our relationship is pretty cool, man. But I actually had the opportunity to chill with him at his spot. Shouts out to my homegirl. She's I was able to chill with him, kick it with him. I seen his personality, see how he actually is. He is really what you see, you know. But how the opportunity came though, I had I feel like it came from, I went to go spar at his gym one time and he was there. I was in Vegas, I forget what it was for, and this was back in 2018, and he was there, and I did extremely good against a guy, one of his fighters, and he spoke to me like something whoop. I'm like, what's good? I wasn't signed at the time. I was ventured off to my own thing, and anyhow he was just like, it's good or something. I'm like, this was good, sign me, after I just shined out of my cigar. He's like, you good, bro? And I'm just like, I'm not gonna feel kind of just be like, what that mean? What does that mean? You're good. I'm just leaving right on, bro. I'm out for show. Anyways, a week later, I hear Floyd Mayweather to fight Karim Mayfield. I'm like, what the? So I went to go look online, and he's like, man, so my next opponent, I'm coming, before I retire, I'm going to fight either Karim Mayfield or Andre Berto, right? So I'm like, damn, a few people like, oh, he's just saying that, he ain't going to say that again. So then he said it about 5 more times in interviews, months leading up to it, to his fight.
When year are we talking?
This was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2018 or 17 yep, 17. It was 17. Yep. So, anyhow, he ended up choosing Berto, smart guy, but nevertheless, though, leading up to that, it definitely made me a household name. People was wondering, searching me out, checking me out.
So why would you make that? Go ahead. You got sponsorship from what?
Yeah, I got sponsorships from that. People just even calling me out. I got a lot of good opportunities from that.
So what made you, as a businessman, as a boxer, and a businessman in boxing, what made him choose the other guy?
A good question. I think that with him, Andre Berto having I actually asked him. I mentioned I was at his house, literally actually.
So you asked Floyd himself.
I asked Floyd himself, yeah. And shouts out to Jamie. That's the homegirl that got me there. She knew him. She was a cut woman that actually had some connections with him, whatever, business connections. And nevertheless, I went to his house, and the day after, I'm like, I asked him, like, what, he was talking about Berto. Like, yeah, Berto's a bitch, I seen him on Coach, flying Coach, just kind of talking bullshit, nonsense. And then he was just like, yeah, I should have gave you that fight. I'm like, you sure should have, bro. Right. He was like, no, man, I couldn't. The powers to be didn't think that you would have sold that many tickets out here. He still got, he's Haitian. And he got like Haiti, he has a country behind him. Even though, Haitian, they don't really,
they're not gonna
like that. Yeah, they're not like the Filipinos or the Spanish, but Latins. But but what he didn't know though, I'm like, bruh, I'm like, the Bay is a culture himself. Right. The Bay is a culture itself, bro. Like, we have Asians out here saying, yay, what's happening, man? We'll knock him out, hard hitter. Right. I'm like, bro, I'm like, the Bay would have showed up. Would have did way more numbers. But he was saying the powers that be, I feel like that's Vegas, feeling like we want to go bring that many people out there because to be realistic, us as, black people, African Americans, Hebrews, we don't have, that support as these other nationalities have, races of people, ethnicities have. we don't have that support, at all, really,
Right.
if you get somebody from, you can get, every once in a while,
together,
they stick together, every other races, but, it's a lot of black fighters, of course, so it's like, but we still don't have a whole movement like that.
Right.
In the Bay, it's a movement, though. I feel like it's a Bay's movement, but it's not necessarily our, just black folks. It's like,
right. It's not like a Pacquiao crew behind
Facts,
TV
exactly.
behind Pacquiao.
Right, and I'm cool with that. I mean, my people is my people. You feel me? Regardless if you white, black, or brown. You feel me? If you my folks to the soul, to the heart, you my people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there it is.
So then you got into the cannabis business from boxing. Talk a little bit about that, man. How did that situation go? How did that transition happen?
Right. Well, I actually ended up. I had transitioned from boxing, and I was, I still had love for the sport, so I had began to train some mixed martial artists, and get in that space, and I actually got ready. Got this guy named Jeremiah Germ ready for a mixed martial art fight, and I went to a fight out there in Concord, California, and the promoter of that fight was like, "Hey, Karim, I've seen you fight, all this. I know your brother." Because it's like, would you be interested? I have someone that maybe will do some business with you. Would you be interested in finding out more about cannabis? I'm like, yeah, tell me more, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, but just prior to that, the homie Joey Hunt had told me about this cannabis equity program that they were rolling out in Oakland. And they was also going to roll out in San Francisco, and that I might actually qualify to be on this. So, going back to speaking to my boy, he had introduced me to Brian, which was the CEO of Shrine Group. They own like 20 companies, they're all the Stizzies or whatever. He set up a phone call and asked me if I qualified to be an equity applicant. So I had to go search out to see if I qualified, and I did.
And then you became an equity applicant. There's not a lot of black dispensary owners. I know that they got the other brother that own the cookies on Hay Street.
Right.
But what does it feel like to be in an industry where there's not a lot of black ownership? How has that situation been, particularly in San Francisco, which is such an international city?
Well, I mean, I say it's definitely it's a sort of a breath of fresh air, not a full breath, but due to taxation, they still gaffling us,
Y'all get taxed at like 35%.
Yes, exactly, 35%, and that's ridiculous. And the feds have to tax state and also city taxes. So I think that.
But it still is lucrative without you having to risk your body, though.
No, yeah, exactly. There you go. It's still lucrative without having to risk my body and everything else. But compared to fighting for sure. But again, it's
Is it something you're gonna be in for the next decade, 2 decades, or is it something you just passing through to get to that next step?
Well, I mean, I'm always willing to take pivots in my life, my career, and my chapters in my book. At the same time, it looks like cannabis is thriving, regardless of the taxation. It looks like a federal legalization may be in the horizons. I'm not sure if that would particularly be the cannabis, regulated market's savior, but it looks like it may be some light at the end of that tunnel.
Y'all make sure y'all go through to Authentic Dispensary in San Francisco. What's the address?
Authentic 415. The address is 165 Mississippi Street. We just 0.5 miles from the Chase Center.
Well, we can't let you go yet because there's a few other things. I know that you got a youth program. You got a youth program where you teach boxing right now.
Right, yeah, I got a youth program called Soul Champ. Be a champion of your own soul, master you, guru you, and I'm a master me. So, it's a boxing mentorship program where I'm teaching them a lot of boxing skills and also, life skills and life hacks and all type of stuff that, that you may not learn in school.